Welcome back, royal watchers and history seekers, to our channel, where the shadows behind palace gates are never as silent as they seem. Today, we peel back the velvet curtain on what may be one of the most consequential decisions in recent royal memory. Will Prince William and Princess Catherine claim Fort Belvedere, the storied estate once haunted by the ghost of a king's abdication, as their next family home? At stake is more than real estate. This drama captures a monarchy divided between honoring legacy and reimagining the very future of the crown. A house with history and haunted symbolism. Fort Belvedere's very stones carry the tremors of royal earthquakes. Hidden deep in Windsor Great Park, shrouded by centuries-old trees, this Gothic revival mansion was famously the escape of King Edward VIII, who, in 1936, stunned the world by signing away his birthright for love of Wallis Simpson. That act shattered Britain's royal succession and forever transformed the monarchy's relationship to duty, love, and sacrifice. Nearly a century later, it is within these walls, still echoing with the whispers of abdication, betrayal, and rebirth, that tradition and modernity are once again poised to collide. For William and Catherine, newly approaching the next act in their own family's saga, Fort Belvedere offers more than grandeur. It holds the possibility of redemption for a place once associated with loss, and the chance to write a new narrative for the next generation. Outgrowing Adelaide, a family in transition. Those close to the couple reveal a restless energy within Adelaide Cottage, the four-bedroom jewel box where the Waleses planted roots, just after the loss of Queen Elizabeth II. For 3 years, this unassuming Windsor hideout offered the privacy and normalcy William and Catherine craved for their children, George, Charlotte, and Louis. But as the children grow, so too do the demands of their lives and legacies. Prince George, future king, is now on the cusp of leaving for elite education at Eton, a transition drenched in both strategy and nostalgia for William, who endured those same corridors of privilege and isolation as a boy, and for Catherine, who aches at the coming separation from her eldest. The cottage's charm can no longer mask its limits. There is talk of overcrowded bedrooms, security worries, and the need for greater space to host not only friends and family, but counselors, tutors, and the ever-lurking machinery of monarchy. Fort Belvedere, the promise and the peril. To insiders, Fort Belvedere is the obvious solution, a sprawling estate that offers sanctuary, heritage, and unrivaled privacy, all nestled just downriver from Eton's ancient cloisters. There's a swimming pool for summer escapes, tennis courts for Charlotte's blossoming talents, and enough gardens and secret walks to lose the world's gaze for days. Here, the Wales family could become both visible and invisible, their children allowed to grow up under tall trees rather than tall expectations, rehearsing the role of future kings and queens with a measure of childhood freedom. But with opportunity comes cost, enormous cost. Multiple sources confirm the estate, long relegated to the archives of royal architecture, would need millions to renovate to modern, secure, and sustainable standards. Roofs leak, cellars groan with age, and every stone requires the signature of a dozen heritage officers before being moved. This isn't just real estate, says one senior courtier. It's a signal. Every pound spent is a message, to the public, to Parliament, to the family's own future. The King's dilemma, austerity versus legacy. For King Charles III, then, the prospect is fraught. His accession has been marked by relentless efforts to slim down both family and finances, consolidating staff, shuttering secondary estates, and reducing the visible trappings of royal privilege. In an era of surging living costs and political unease, he is keenly aware of the optics. A multi-million-pound restoration could be seen as tone-deaf, an echo of the extravagance that once threatened the monarchy's very survival. Palace insiders whisper of icy exchanges between father and son, with Charles privately lamenting the unnecessary extravagance of the move. Legacy must serve both the crown and the country, Charles is reported to have told aides. The monarchy cannot be seen to build palaces while Britons choose between heat and food. Yet, Even Charles recognizes that William and Catherine's generation needs a home to anchor an evolving institution, a house to match the weight of what comes next. A family at the crossroads, generational clashes and private pains. The reality is, William and Catherine are not driven purely by comfort or optics. They are acutely aware that their children are not just kids, but living symbols, the faces and hearts the monarchy's future depends upon. Friends say that behind William's calm exterior is a fierce, almost haunted determination to shield his children from the storm of scrutiny that marked his own coming of age. For Catherine, still recovering from profound health challenges, the vision of a home that is private, secure, and nurturing is both a balm and a necessity. Some royal aides, quietly supportive of the Wales's yearning for a new chapter, point out that Fort Belvedere's history, though controversial, could be reclaimed. To take the house where a king fell, and raise the heirs of modern monarchy, what could be bolder, muses one family friend. It's not an abdication, it's an evolution. Yet, not all are convinced. Charles supporters worry that reopening the wounds of Edward VIII's legacy will only invite more doubts about royal succession, duty, and the thin line between personal happiness and public sacrifice. In the corridors of St. James's and Clarence House, murmurings grow louder. Does the crown build for tomorrow, or risk repeating the ghosts of yesterday? The public, an awaiting world, holds its breath. Meanwhile, the British press is relentless, chronicling every rumor as fact, every truck seen at Fort Belvedere as evidence of an impending gilded revolution. Polls reveal a nation split. Some call for austerity, others for a monarchy that is unafraid to claim its spectacular history for a new age. On social media, debate rages. #Belvedere Next trends alongside calls for royal reform and nostalgia-tinged memories of Wallace and Edward's scandalous love affair. Ordinary families see echoes of their own struggles in the Wales's desire for space and security, yet bristle at the sums involved. Do as we do, or do as you please, asks one commentator. The royal family can no longer have it both ways. A home as a symbol, and as a choice between worlds. With so much at stake, the final decision cannot be rushed. Every argument about cost and symbolism is replayed in late-night conversations, in staff briefings, in the quieter moments of parenting 3 children on the edge of royalty. For the Wales family, the promise of Fort Belvedere is not luxury, but legacy, a blueprint for the kind of monarchy they wish to build, private, rooted, and human behind the crown's centuries-old protocols. Whatever their choice, one thing is clear: this is not a simple change of address, but a nation's silent vote on what it means to be both royal and real in the age of endless judgment. The next act in Britain's royal drama may be written not in Parliament, but in the rooms and gardens of a haunted, hopeful house, where family, fate, and future collide. What do you think? Will Fort Belvedere become the house that bridges the gap between myth and modernity? Can the royal family finally reconcile the wounds of the past with the demands of their future, without losing what matters most? Share your verdict in the comments. Like, subscribe, and stay with us, because the story of King, Queen, and country is about to find its boldest new chapter, written, as ever, in the clash between legacy and change. If you want even more depth, quotes, additional subplots with other royals, 20th century flashbacks, financial breakdowns, or dramatic insider scenes, just say the word, and the saga can grow into a true epic.